You may have heard this phrase before: hire slow and fire fast. Has anyone ever worked with a coworker who's been difficult to work with? So my contention this morning, my speech is to inform, and I want to share with you how to hire a great staff. And so you might be in that position, whether you're on an interview committee or you're a manager who has to hire a great staff. But you might also be a coworker, and perhaps some of these tips will assist you in influencing from your level your boss or your hiring manager, whoever it happens to be, because ultimately the person that they hire you eventually have to work with. And so today I have three tips for you, three tips to share with you about how to hire a great staff. The first one is to cast a wide net. And what I mean by that is to get the word out about the open position. So if there's an open position in your office, it's important to let as many people as possible know that you're hiring. And so as a charter school leader, which is what I do, I try as many ways as possible to inform the community about our open positions. So this next year we have 12 teaching positions that we're hiring for, and so I make speeches in the community. I run LinkedIn ads. Actually, LinkedIn ads and Facebook ads are one of our most effective ways to communicate open positions currently. Raise your hand if you're on LinkedIn right now. So LinkedIn's been very effective. What I like about LinkedIn is you can do targeted ads. And so, for example, in education, I can just choose education sector, and I know that I'm not wasting my money in advertising to people that aren't in education at all. I can use specific keywords, geographic regions. If I found that the majority of our teachers are just local, but we're looking for somebody that's coming not from Baton Rouge, but to provide more of a regional flair or a national perspective, then we can target ads in different cities. Facebook's been great as well, because Facebook allows you to target based on education level, on the colleges that you've graduated from, your education major, previous work experience. There's so many ways to really target that ad. So as opposed to running a traditional classified ad, which everyone sees except for people that don't read the paper, which frankly most of us probably don't read the paper on a daily basis, LinkedIn and Facebook are really effective ways to cast a wide net in letting people know about open positions. Also on your website, it's important that somewhere on your website, really prominently on that first page, you say now hiring, and then have a link to those positions. And then the third way to cast a wide net is to use word of mouth. And some of the best people that we've hired have been the brother of a friend or the sister of someone that we've met at an open house event. The second way to hire a great staff is to have a very rigorous screening process. So just having the traditional send in the resume or send in the reference letters just doesn't work anymore. We know that everyone pads their resume, everyone adds little things that aren't quite true or kind of embellishes their responsibility in a resume. And those reference letters, nobody's going to write you a poor reference letter. So the reference letters don't really matter either. They don't have much of an effect. And after reading hundreds and hundreds, they all look the same. And so what we do is we have the first step in getting hired at Mentorship Academy, which are the charter schools that I run, is you have to send in a YouTube video. So you create a video of yourself introducing who you are. If you're a teacher, we like to see you teach. So record a video of you teaching. How do you conduct your class? And what we found is that people kind of let their guard down, and so you don't get the polished resume, cover letter, perfect suit when you're interviewing, but you get to see who people really are, and the stars really shine, and those that aren't a great fit, it's really evident through that YouTube video. If you go on YouTube and type in Mentorship Academy, you'll see hundreds of people that have applied. It's very interesting and a little scary. The second way that we have a rigorous screening process is to do a group interview. So a key to being successful in the modern workplace is working with other people, critical thinking, problem solving, being a team. And so why would we interview one person and have a long conversation with one individual and not see the way that they interact with a team? For me, I like to have them on site as long as possible. So literally get somebody to come in at 8 o'clock and have them there throughout most of the day. I want to see them frustrated, because they will be frustrated sometime during the year, and they're going to be on their best behavior when they're interviewing. And so if they're not on their best behavior when they're interviewing, think about when they're really frustrated, when it's just a few weeks before Thanksgiving break. So having them in a group interview lets you see Well, they might be able to speak well, but how do they listen? How do they take other people's feedback? Are they able to think on the spot? Are they able to adjust and modify their plans based on the circumstances of the day? And in education, things change a lot. For example, you have a perfect lesson plan ready to deliver, or that exam that you're ready to deliver, and somebody pulls a fire alarm. So how do you deal with that? So we want to see people that are able to think on their feet. And one more step in the rigorous screening process is to have stakeholder feedback. For us, our major stakeholders are our students. And so we have students involved in the process, students interviewing teachers, teachers presenting example lessons to students and getting their feedback. And the third step in hiring a great staff is to have an onboarding process. And a lot of companies don't really do this at all. They have one training, maybe it's just a tour of where you work, and that's it. But for us, it's really important to bring someone into the team, particularly after we launched. We now have a culture, we now have responsibilities and roles, and you bring somebody into that, and you have to onboard them. You have to bring them on board into the process, into the system, clear lines of expectations, and clear accountability. So reporting structure, what are their responsibilities, what's the culture, and there's many ways to do that, and I'll just share 3 really quickly. The first is to take the time to build the culture, so some informal events to get to know who the person is that's joining you. The second is to ensure competency, so make sure they really understand how to log into their email or how to clock in or whatever some of the functions that they need to perform on a daily basis are. And the third is to build the team using difficult conversations. So for us, we actually have a protocol of when we're having a challenge, we want to say, we're going to have a difficult conversation, but we want to be able to have it in an effective way as opposed to avoiding that. So hopefully those tips have been helpful for you in hiring a great staff, and you'll be able to implement them at whatever level you happen to be at. Thank you.